Nearly 2 years ago, our lives were upended by COVID-19. But for expecting and new moms, they're entering a new way of life in a new normal.
Being a mom is the most rewarding and also the most difficult thing I've ever done.
It was stressful, but we made it work, and we just kind of have to go with the flow at this point.
Delivering your first child is a thrilling moment for new mothers.
She's like the perfect baby, and she's a blessing.
Come here. But delivering your first child in the days and weeks after COVID-19 arrived was a difficult one for families across the state line.
We didn't know anything, and so I literally didn't leave my house until after he was born because I was so afraid that I'd get COVID and that my husband wouldn't be allowed into the delivery room with me, so it was just scary.
Tess Knight had her son Grayson in May of 2020, just 2 months into the pandemic.
To hear if you or your spouse gets COVID, you will be delivering alone. And I was like, this is my first child and I have to potentially deliver alone. Like, that was freaky.
Through the fear of the unknown, she and her husband came out of it with a healthy baby boy. Actually thankful they had him when they did.
Although there was a lot of anxiety at the beginning, I wouldn't have had Gray. And I love him so much. And I think without him, COVID may have been more stressful or more like scary in a different way. But with him, it was like this little bundle of joy that we got to look forward to being with and living life with.
That same sentiment shared by another new mother, Kylie Onabaney.
I think just her like laughing and like recognizing both of us and smiling, and then like her reciprocating that love. I love it.
Give me a kiss.
Her daughter Addison is 20 months, and just over the last year and a half, Kylie says that she's grown just as much as her child.
I feel like at the time I felt gypped of my like pregnancy and like that special time, but then we did make it work. We had like a drive-through shower outside, and like the weather was nice, and actually looking back, I liked that a lot more. I just feel like having her, even though with like the pandemic, everything has worked out perfect, I wouldn't change anything.
It's hard, and I think people feel isolated and alone, but they're not the only ones going through it. There's a lot of other people that are going through it too.
Right now, Maggie Brose is pregnant with her second child after delivering her first in July 2020. As a nurse at OSF, she saw how COVID changed everything in an instant firsthand, and says that has made her more cautious in her everyday life.
You know, you have to determine visitors and things like that. Like, do I let these people, I know they're her grandparents, but do I let them come around and hang out with her and see her?
We struggled with like, when do you expose them to people? When do you actually bring them out? When do you go to the store? When do you go to social events?
While the path forward is still uncertain, all three mothers agree they're walking forward with a newfound confidence.
I love watching him become his own person and become passionate about things and to show his voice, and you get a front row seat to someone's life, and it's pretty fantastic.
Watching the beginning of a new life in the midst of an entirely new way of life. All three women say they have had their challenges raising small children amid the pandemic, but are grateful that there are more protections now and feel like they can get out and do more with their kids going forward.